Welcome to the DocuWare Kinetic Solution for Employee Management demonstration series. This final segment of the series revolves around the separation process.
So right now, the documents that are stored in the employee records file cabinet indicate, or there is a record for each of the employees. Now we have our new candidate, our new employee, Joe candidate. Let's say for some reason things didn't work out and we have to go ahead and flag him as terminated. So there is a DocuWare form called the separation form that the human resources manager or director would fill out based on information from the hiring manager that is executing the separation. Now I've gone ahead and filled out the majority of this separation form, but the items that were needed obviously are the employee's first name, last name, their DocuWare user ID, manager's name, first and last, manager's title, the department they worked in, the final status, whether it's going to be terminated or resigned, deceased, retired, whatever the cause is. Now, these drop-down lists are obviously completely personalizable, so they can be modified to fit any environment or whatever is needed to be in there. The department, the reasons, last workday, last paid through date, these are all things that we want to keep documented. This is something that I would like to point out, the immediate flag. If for some reason the separation needs to be done immediately, meaning that the access needs to be revoked for security reasons, this would immediately send a task to the IT manager, whoever's in that role, that would instruct them to remove the access immediately. And it has a very short overdue status, so that it would move quickly through the next levels of escalation should this flag be set to yes. The separation type, again, whether it's a forced resignation, terminated for cause, again, just a select list that can be modified as need be if there's any supporting documentation, and then we go ahead and submit this form. So if I were to look now in the employee records file cabinet, I would see now there's a new separation form that's been stored here. Separation forms are kept separate from the regular employee files due to the nature of what it is they do. So the presence of this new form triggers a separation task for the HR administrator, and really all this is a fact check so that they can look through this document and make sure that everything is correct before they go ahead and execute. If they've determined there are errors on the form, it'll be deactivated, and then a new one can be resubmitted. But if they're correct, we can go ahead and double check this information and click confirm. Now, this does a couple of different things, and a lot of what happens behind the scenes. But if I were to look at this particular employee's record right now, their employee record now shows an employee status of terminated. That's on the form. And if I refresh this result list, I see that his status has been changed from active to terminated. So now we have his employee master record says terminated. His separation has been delivered. He's been notified. There is an email distributed, and basically the separation is complete. But what happens behind the scenes that you really don't get a chance to see is what happens in the case of the existing documents. So I'm going to go in and log in now as a system administrator and show you some of the behind the scenes aspects of what happens. And these things, again, cannot really be demonstrated. I simply wanted to show you where these events take place. There's an old task. Now, there is a process called auto-indexing. Now, an auto-index job, what this is going to do is trigger, like a workflow, and basically when employment status equals active changes to employment status equals terminated, this auto-index job will go through a matched data process And every file in the employee files file cabinet that has the DocuWare user ID that matches the employee that's been terminated will get assigned a retention date based on the retention period set in the document types file cabinet, and that will get written back. So in essence, all of the employee files within all the employee files file cabinet documents for that particular user will now have a retention date set on them. And then there is a deletion policy in place for the employee files file cabinet that says if the retention date is equal to the current date, to go ahead and delete it. And this is scheduled to run every day, and it simply looks through anything that says, is the retention date equal to today? If it is, go ahead and delete it. So that's the way we would clean out files based on the retention period set in the document types file cabinet. There's also an employee files 1 month deletion list. So if an employee file record is due to be deleted next month, it will appear here. So this is kind of a way of giving you a warning as to what's going to happen or what's going to be deleted within the next month. And that's about it. So I hope this gives you a better understanding of exactly what happens within the DocuWare Kinetic Solution for Employee Management, some of the behind-the-scenes happenings, and the user experience in general. Thank you.